like to demonstrate for you now the basic CoAT method. I begin by palpating the area for the most restricted tension that I can feel, and in this area right here is where I'm going to begin. If you can see, I'm very gently lifting the surface skin. I'm not looking for the muscles, I'm looking at the very surface tension and very gently lifting that tissue and doing a slight torque, very gentle turn, and holding and waiting. The purpose of doing this is to melt the initial fascia that is most dense at the surface of the body, and then allow the blood flow and lymphatic flow to increase. And as that happens, you'll start to see that the tissue starts to slip away, and I can go up higher. There's a lift that I can feel there, and then there will be a shift where I'm at the very, very surface of the skin tissue, and this is the primary area of treatment. This is the area that unlocks tension and increases function of so many systems in the body. We'll talk about that in another part of this video segment. But just feeling there, and the tissues will start to unwind, and then there's a snap or a pop, a release, and the tension, you can see how much softer the tissues are there. So to go through the sequence, you pick up the surface tissue until it's rounded, and very gently lifting, then applying a torque, and then lifting from there, feeling for a response from the body to unwind, and that is basic CoAT. Now there's different layers that you can work with there that's starting to soften. There's many different layers that you can work with on the CoAT method. I just showed you the basic CoAT. There is a deeper layer that's called the underlying plane, and that's where you have the deepest pull, where a lot of myofascial therapists will work into this area and push very hard and long into that region. However, if we lift the tissue, and rather than push, and I'm using my lower hand to support, if we lift that tissue and do a turn, lift and turn, and just wait, the tissue will start to slide out of your fingers and come up to a very surface layer, and it feels very dense at this upper hand here. And just holding that. The lower hand is just basically making slack, giving some space, and I'm waiting. And then there's a release of tension, everything softens. But you can see in this area here, between these fingers, that the tissue stayed very white. It didn't become pink like the rest of the tissue with hyperemia. That means there's a blockage in this region. So I'm going to go into that area, and this is reaching the very surface layer, which I call chainmail. Chainmail can feel as hard as iron, and as soon as I get into that region, it pulls back deeply into the body, and just maintain your contact. The term chainmail refers to the chain link armor that knights would wear under their suit of armor to protect the body. And in that area, if you just get a tiny part of that chain link to break, again with very gentle tension, very gentle pressure, the tissues will completely unwind. And then a phenomena starts where the tissue, I don't know if you can see that my fingers are moving further away from each other, that the tissues are now expanding, that dense, almost metal-like tension that was on the surface is now opening. And it may look like I'm pulling and stretching, but I'm actually not. I'm staying on the same point of tissue, same point of skin through this whole segment. It's almost like working with an umbrella, that you feel the tension when the umbrella is closed, and then you find the right point and the umbrella opens. And what's happening here right now is that the surface tissue is expanding more and more, and that means all of these systems that were between my hands of the capillaries, the nerves, the muscles, the lymph, the venous flow, all of those were being restricted and now open. There we go. And so now this tension, you can see, is so much less. And opens not just the area where I'm working. The interesting about applied tensegrity is the concept that the whole body is a unit. I'm going to show you this again, because this is the area I feel right now. I'm going to lift and turn. It's going into chainmail. Chainmail you can tell because it pulls you in. And this will be affecting other areas in the body. One of the basic principles of Tensegrity is that the whole body is a unit. So as you do this, people may respond saying that they feel changes like warmth coming into their feet, or their arm may be tingling, or they may get very relaxed, like my model is here at the moment. He's gone into an altered state. And this is one of the registers that people will have, that their breathing changes and they start to swallow. And there's a definite sense of relaxation in altered state. So there you see how that tense, dense area of chainmail opened up.